Hey everyone, and welcome back to all of the super duper pre-alpha stuff that I'm working on. I guess the easiest way to put it is just that all the movement options that can be done without any type of like character 3D model or collision mesh or anything are working. So let me just start off with this because it's going to be the most noticeable right off the bat. If you look in the top left, there's a whole bunch of debug strings, but there's a top speed countdown, and that's the way that this is going to handle sprint. It's not in its own dedicated button. Instead, if you just sustain your acceleration for a certain amount of time, it'll kick into it. So, for example, 2, 1, and then it'll kill it if you stop moving. But there are two major differences. The first one being that in most other games with sprint, if you try and do another action as you're in sprint, it'll wait for you to decelerate and then do it, whereas it's the other way around in this. So let me just show you, for example. So firing immediately takes you out of it, and you just decelerate as you're firing, rather than having any kind of delay on your inputs. And you don't necessarily have to run forward, you just have to continue accelerating. So I could even do it backwards. Standard jumps won't take you out of sprint, but double jumps, or air jumps as I'm calling them, are. So that's the next thing we can cover. You have a standard jump, and you also, have a double jump. And what I finally got worked out with a double jump is it's kind of a Smash Bros. Style setup where even if you're falling, you can still use the air jump, even if you lose your first. So you can do that, or you can jump off and then air jump. There's no real difference with crouch walking. You're a little slower. And there are specific inputs in case you want to change the values of the crouch jump. But you can spam crouch in the air. But then the next thing we have is the stabilizers or hover type mechanic like in Halo 5. Except instead of having to be in the air and aiming down sights and then potentially hitting a button, all you do is hold down crouch for a specific amount of time in the air. So we jump, hold crouch. And if you start out crouching on the ground and then jump, it takes a little longer to kick off so that it doesn't just immediately send you into stabilizers on the ground. And as the replacement for clamber, there is also a hover jump. So how that works is if you just hold down stabilizers for the full length, it'll bump you up in the air a little bit. That's mainly to balance things out because there's not going to be radar, so it's to make clambers a little bit more obvious and to require some more time to go into them. But they also have other applications because, as you can see here, you can kind of just like fly off in any direction, really. Just about all the abilities are omnidirectional and aren't like requiring you to be forward or anything. That was totally not on purpose. And then as part of the top speed mechanic, if you crouch when you're at top speed, it'll throw you forward a little bit, kind of like a slide, except the difference in this case is that it'll send you airborne. And of course, like I said before, difference compared to some of the other ones is that you can do it in any direction. So it's got that going for it. And you can also combine it with standard ground jump so that you can go even farther in your double jump. Thrusters, also known as like dashing and quake and all of that, are in. If you're not moving, it'll just launch you forward, or you can hit the button to launch yourself. And it's a Halo 5 type setup where it's based on the direction. It doesn't just send you forward. And it can be stacked with air jump and double jump and all that. So as a way to demonstrate the abilities a little more, I'm now going to go to that highest point on the map over there by combining all the abilities. And there we go.